We promised you 8s, and here are more 8s. This is the latest plate, which is intermediate men's crew, so that means only national crews are not able to apply here. And here we got Oxford Brookes C crew, one of 3 Oxford Brookes crews in this event, against Hollandia Roeiclub from the Netherlands. Brookes going off like an absolute train. Well, Hollandia really know they have to keep with these guys.
Yeah, we've seen other Brookes crews coming out exactly like that in the other events, and I think the crews will be racing against each other, training against each other from the same club. They'll know how to put in a very fast, very strong start. And again, it's a very physical way to get that boat up and moving.
So yeah, looking at the Oxford Brookes Cox, we've seen this in a couple of the crews actually tucking in quite tightly to the bank, looking for a bit of shelter probably from the wind. But my goodness, I thought Brookes had gone off hard, but Hollandia are going absolutely crackers here. I know,
and it's actually good because we have seen the crews kind of on our left looking at it, leading out from that space, but Hollandia sort of upset the apple cart by sneaking up right against the island, getting the burst out. So when you come out into that bit, it's sort of almost the first time you really feel that wind around you, and to almost have broken a length out on that Oxford Brookes crew is effective start.
So they went off like a train pulling out of the station, and then they're down towards the centre part of the race, the middle kind of part of the race here, and Hollandia, well, they're putting down a marker. Now, I said this is an event where national crews can't enter, but national under-23 crews can, and this is what the Hollandia 8 putatively is here. Something interesting about this race for you, if you like sibling rivalry, well, in the Hollandia crew, sitting in the stroke seat is Tomba Moreau, 20 years old, and in the Brookes crew, he can see behind him his brother Tristan, 19 years old, in the 4 seat of the Oxford Brookes crew. So some sibling rivalry there, mixed feelings from the parents, no doubt, but at the moment it's the older brother sitting there in the Hollandia crew who's got the edge.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because we often end up with siblings in the same boat, but having them in opposite clubs, opposite races, adds a little bit of tension coming down that course. But yeah, this is a really impressive row. We're halfway down the course, just past, and again, that crew has just got out, got settled. That's a big margin to have, and looking very, very strong.
We saw in the Marin crew earlier this afternoon from the west coast of the US today 2 sets of brothers in the same crew. Now we've got 1 set of brothers across the crew as we come live to the race, and we can see the Hollandia crew here, nice and commanding position over. Well, let's remind ourselves, this is the 3rd Brookes crew in this event. They've got 2 other crews that are faster here, so maybe Hollandia might see another purple set of oars and shirts to race further through the draw.
I know, and we should really acknowledge Brookes for getting 3rd crew through to Friday as well. It's, you know, this is a competitive event, so really great to see them racing today. And again, like, I love these angles. You see that how stable that bow ball is. It's the boat. It's a big boat, but it's running really level, really stable in these conditions. There's a calmness to it, and even when it bounces like that, we're seeing it fluctuate again with the rolling waves, the wind, and yet it's not unsettling the athletes at all.
So what we're looking at here on the bow ball, you want it to be as flat as possible, and it's really not surging too much. You think about it, you've got all those athletes, their weight is moving to the back of the boat, to the front of the boat, so minimizing the bounce, like they say in sailing, you know, flat is fast, and that's what they're looking to do. And I think the Dutch actually well known for having a really smooth and fluid style. They really move in sympathy with the water, and I think we can see that fluidity and efficiency and economy here.
Yeah, and I think that it's always the fascinating bit with rowing is, you know, obviously it's a very, very physical sport, but some crews you see that physicality in a much sort of stronger, dominating way. Other crews it's there, but actually it's a much more technical, rhythmic style, and you know, crews can win another way of doing it. But it's just really interesting to see how traditionally the Dutch crews have this beautiful sort of fluid, flowing movement.
And I love in these 8 races as well, you can see the faces of the cox. This is Floor Steeman sitting in the cox's seat of the Hollandia crew, coaching, encouraging and informing the Dutch that they've crossed the line, and they've commanded that race really from the start over Oxford Brookes C to book their spot in the semi-finals tomorrow Saturday here at Henley Regatta. Oxford Brookes C, they put everything out on the track. That's all you can ask the crew to do. Trust the process, and it's a big order for them to do better than that. So Hollandia Roeiclub from the Netherlands, the under-23 Dutch crew, booking a place in the semi-final over Oxford Brookes.